Questioning Newton's laws of motion. The conclusions I have drawn about upwards accelerating Earth being a plausible explanation for the effects we attribute to gravity depend on Newton's laws of motion being correct. Isaac Newton was a mathematician and physicist who supposedly formulated the laws of motion and also the theory of gravity. We have all heard the story of the apple falling from the tree and landing on his head. People in this community are naturally suspicious of Freemasonic characters like Isaac Newton. So how can we trust that what he said is correct? Newton's first law, the law of inertia, states that an object at rest will stay at rest, and an object in motion continues to move at a constant velocity unless acted upon by an external force. People seem to confuse this law of motion with the idea of a perpetual motion machine which we know cannot exist and which would violate the laws of thermodynamics. Newton's first law is accepted as fact, but cannot be physically demonstrated because it is subject to the limitations of friction. A totally frictionless environment does not exist. Frictional force is always present and will always decelerate an object in motion. If we take this example of a rolling cart, even on the smoothest surface, the cart is being pressed against the floor. The wheels making contact with the floor create friction. The bearings in the wheels create friction, and the drag from the air around the cart is an aerodynamic friction. All these frictional forces combine to decelerate the cart. A guy called James from the YouTube channel Hypertops has been developing spinning tops. His first spinning top project, Mark 1, spun for around 3 minutes. Gradually, he has perfected his design and gradually minimized all frictions. His latest version, Mark 24, which is finger spun, is able to spin for an insane 1 hour and 20 minutes. This shows the effects of reducing friction. Inertia is a resistance to changes in velocity. If we apply a force to accelerate an object, inertia resists that force. If we then apply a force in the opposite direction to decelerate the object, the inertial resistance then acts in the opposite direction and resists the decelerating force. Here we see that when accelerating an object, inertia acts in one direction. Then when decelerating the object, it works in the opposite direction. In the middle, when neither accelerating nor decelerating, we have constant velocity, which has zero inertial resistance to the motion. This shows you that inertia does not decelerate an object moving at a constant velocity. It is always an opposing force like friction which decelerates the object. Newton's first law cannot be demonstrated because friction is always present, but we can determine that the principle is correct because we know that inertia does not resist constant velocity, and if all opposing forces were removed, there will be nothing left to decelerate the moving object, and so it would continue moving at a constant velocity. Thanks for watching.